Hey guys, welcome to another edition of JohnOkinaga.com presents Ask Dr. O. So after last week's conversation on anxiety, I got a bunch of emails from parents of teens and kids. And what they're saying is, my child or teenager is really struggling with anxiety in the midst of COVID. They miss their friends, they're missing community, they're not playing sports. So what hope can you offer? Well, one, I just want to share that it's, according to statistics, this is pretty normal. So I'm going to pull up a chart for you guys to see. And this is from the CDC. So the CDC did a survey, and this was June 24th to 30th. So this is about almost 2 months old. But I think it's still relevant today because I'm still getting calls about depression, anxiety, and suicide and substance abuse. So that's kind of why those four topics are what we're going to be talking about in the next couple months. But if you look at the age group of 18 to 24, those suffering with anxiety or depression, 63%. Seriously considered suicide in the past 30 days, 25.5%. That should be terrifying. And if you look at substance abuse, up 25%. You can find this document on cdc.gov if you want to really dig into the numbers. I like looking at these things. I'm Asian, so I love my numbers. But it's pretty telling to see how much COVID has impacted people, especially those that are younger. And obviously, this stopped at 18, but I'm working with teens as young as 13 who are struggling with anxiety or depression in the midst of COVID. So this is obviously something that is very serious. This also breaks it down by race, socioeconomic standings and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting. If you just want to check it out, you can also email me for the exact link if you can't find it. More than willing to share that with you guys. So what are we supposed to do? What are some practical hints if your state is in lockdown and, you can't even go to the park? Like I know in Hawaii, my parents can't even walk around the park. Even with a mask on, they can't walk around the park. I was going to put on a mask to show my mask, but I can't find it. But my parents have done? They decided to walk around the park. So not in the park, but around the park. And we're so obviously wearing a mask to abide by, to respect authority and whatnot. So there's some ways you can do that. I really feel for those that are pretty much locked down in their apartments or in a condo. Prison, when those that are incarcerated and they're put in solitary confinement, there's been arguments that should be considered cruel and unusual punishment. Yet that's what we're doing to our nation right now. And once again, I'm not here to argue about the validity or how dangerous COVID is. That's not the purpose of this vlog. I have a very close friend who lost his mom to COVID. I've also had friends who had COVID who, seemingly just bounced back like it is no big deal. So I'm not an MD. I don't know. So I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Just be wise, y'all. If you're at high risk, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Whether that's taking your zinc or your vitamins and whatnot. That's not my area of expertise, but just make sure you're taking care of yourself. So what should you do if your teens can't get out of the house? There's only so much Zoom sessions you can do, or Google Hangouts or Facebook Lives that you can do. So, think outside the box. Maybe if you're in Hawaii, you can go surf. So go surf. Hey, Kalani, that's my dog. Like I've told you guys before, I don't do edits. It's just one shot through. So I'm holding true to my word. I'm not going to restart this video over. But that's my dog, Kalani. He's a pretty special dog. That's another thing you might want to consider doing, just off the top of my head. Get your kid a pet. My sister's, Jessa Grace is my youngest niece, and she likes being around people. So what we ended up doing was I'd take the dog over to their house, and Kalani could run in the backyard with Jessa, or Jessa would come over here and run in the backyard with the dog over here. So start to think outside the box. If you have any questions or suggestions that you're considering, shoot me an email, soberhints@gmail.com. For those of you who don't have me on Facebook, if you have me on Facebook, odds are you also probably have my phone number. So take advantage of it. Shoot me ideas, and I'm more than willing to talk to you guys about potential solutions that you guys can face. But probably one of the biggest helps that helped me when I was struggling with my anxiety was music and listening to sermons. So I'm just going to go over. I posted this on my Sober Hints YouTube, and this is for everyone. This was my music playlist. As you can see, there's a bunch of them. My music playlist that really helped me out in the depths of my anxiety. I like music. I love singing songs and whatnot. Maybe not in public or for the world to hear, but in the car I'm singing, or just at home I'll just pick up a song. And this was probably one of the songs that helped me out the most. And it was called Shelter by Carrollton. I think I pronounced the artist name the most. And um, here's some of the words. And this was the verses that really helped me out. He goes, I know you won't let me go. You're a fortress for my soul, my helper. You're my shelter. You're my hope, my anchor in the storm. Your love unbreakable, my helper. You are my shelter. And, uh, maybe I'm getting emotional right now, but I'm, thinking back into how hard it was when I was struggling with my anxiety. I remember calling one of my mentors at 7 o'clock in the morning and saying, "Hey, Dr. Babler, I'm having a pretty hard time." And it was scary times for me. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, not able to breathe, and the nights where I was having really bad issues around 11:30 at night, curled up in the fetal position, rapid heart rate, all of the fun stuff, that we went over in the previous video. And it was a scary time for me. And it was, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But anyway, I called him one morning at 7, and we went and had breakfast at 7:30. And he just talked. He prayed with me. He said, it's okay. It's okay. It happens. And that was such a relief hearing it from my mentor, who was professor at the school I was attending at the time, saying, it's okay, John. Like, it's okay. And what made it even more special was Nicole just came and she sat with me. She didn't say much, but she just wanted to hear what he was going to offer as advice. And she just sat there and didn't say much. And that's another thing you guys can do. Talk to people, get a mentor in your child's life that can come alongside them and help them and walk them through this difficult time, where they're not just, bottling up all of their emotions and feelings, that they're actually getting it out there and having someone combat the unbiblical thinking with biblical truth. That'll go such a long way. Another thing we started to realize was I was having episodes at about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, like on the dot. It was religious at the same time. And what we realized was maybe a week prior, I got a phone call from my sister saying I needed to rush over to their house. My brother-in-law, he almost died that night. There's blood everywhere. He had some internal bleeding. And I just started having these apprehensive feelings about that same time. And previously, maybe 3 months earlier, 2 months earlier, my grandmother had died. So I was dealing with a lot of death at that time. And it was a big struggle. I was worried that I was going to die, and considering how much weight I have put on since I left Hawaii, um, there's a lot of concerns on my part. So I've started to work towards that. I'm not eating pizza every day. I'm trying to eat healthier. So those are some other things, realizing if it's a rational thought or irrational thought, and the process of doing that, so a rational thought, like you're going to die of a heart attack because you're fat. Well, that's not an irrational thought. That's a rational thought for me right now. So I started going on those walks. I started to eat better. I started to listen to music. And so I'm going to put up another song that really helped me out during my time of struggling with anxiety. And that was Thy Will by this lady named Hillary Scott. And it was just this right here. Right here. I may never understand that my broken heart is part of your plan. When I try to pray, all I got is hurt and these 4 words. And those 4 words is thy will be done. And it was over and over and over again that this song would be on repeat. And I just have to remind myself, it's not my will that needs to be done, but it's thy will be done. And there's such comfort knowing, that I serve a Heavenly Father in heaven who loves me unconditionally in spite of my mistakes and my insecurities and whatnot, that I just got to place my faith and hope in him. And that song really helped. And another one is No, maybe I should just leave it on the share screen so you don't see me crying right now. And it's in the garden, man. And this one is gonna make me probably get choked up even more, because this song reminds me of my grandfather Dominic, my grandpa D, and if you're dealing with loss or grief or whatnot, you guys, my emotions right now isn't because I'm sad, because now I can look back and remember the good times that I had with Grandpa D, and it's and he walks with me and he talks with me, and he tells me that I am his home, and the joy we share as we tarry there, no other has ever known. You know, if you're struggling right now, it's okay, because here I am talking about these subjects and I'm getting emotional. But that's the world we live in, you guys. That's the reality of the world we're in right now. There might be times that you're going to cry and cry. If you're struggling, let your emotions out. Don't just bottle it in. And for the guys out there, it's okay to cry every once in a while. I was raised in that generation of Asians that real men don't cry, and we just kind of bottle it up. And that doesn't know good. So I don't cry every day. But when I talk about certain issues or whatnot, and the feelings well up, I don't shove it down. So what did we go over? We went over, just getting out doing something. Don't just stay at home. Find some music that you like to listen to, that as you sing it, like it kind of expresses your heart and where you're at. And then another one that I want to share is, and I posted this on my what's this called? My YouTube, my YouTube playlist or whatever. I'm not a YouTube fanatic. I don't know much, but my playlist also has favorite sermons. And one of my favorite pastors is a pastor by the name of Charles Stanley. So I have a bunch of his videos posted. Some of these I probably watched multiple times. And if you're struggling with anxiety, the one that I really would encourage you to listen or to watch is Taking Control of Our Thoughts. Is a video that he has. And his videos, this one is a little bit longer. It's 51 minutes with 5 million views. So obviously this is speaking to people. It was this one, and then listening to God and waiting on God's timing. So Dr. Stanley has a bunch of great videos that I would encourage you guys to watch. And then also Francis Chan. Francis Chan is out in California. I don't know if he's still preaching anymore, but he has some good stuff as well. So just to recap, you guys, if you're struggling with anxiety, I hope I provided a little bit more in-depth knowledge about how you guys can go about dealing with it. If you have more questions, hit me up, and I'm more than willing to help work with whoever's needs help. If you need to sign up for counseling or whatnot, you can go to my website, johnokinaga.com. There's a services page. So we just updated this as Addict and Family Coaching and whatnot. And the sign up form is right here that you guys can go to, just sign up. I don't take insurance, and I know not all of you have money right now. So if you can't afford it and you need counseling, there's a donation option for you guys as well. But I just want to make sure that you guys are getting the care that you guys need in the midst of COVID. So that's all I got for you guys this week. And next week, we'll probably be talking about depression or suicidal ideations. It just depends on if I can get the expert that I need to join us to set aside some time to talk. So next week's video will be on depression or anxiety, unless something else comes up either through an email or whatnot on a topic that you guys would like to talk about. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you can subscribe on YouTube, that's great. We went from 50 views the first week. I think this last week we're up to 150. So continue to share these posts with your friends. And I appreciate you guys very much. God bless.